In case of project taking too long, throw through winch. Hey, all right. Hey, it's been a little while since we did an update. The car's changed a lot. I haven't really been doing a very good job at keeping you guys up to date, but we made a lot of progress on it. This project's been way more work than I thought, and everyone watching is probably like, yeah, of course it was going to be that much work. You should have known better. But I didn't. So here we are. But let's just kind of hop right into it. I'll update you on where I am and what I've done, which is kind of a lot. So let's just start at the back. The back's easy. So let me see if I can get down here. Can't really see much, but as you can tell, we do have some nice tires on. I went with some Federal 595s. We do have, these are actually X5 wheels. I got like super duper cheap. They're a little heavy, but they're pretty strong, and they were in great shape since they're on an SUV, so no curb rash. I kind of like the 5-spoke design, even though these are a little bulbous, but they were $60, so I don't really care that much. We do have the E36 325 brakes on there with the calipers. We're just running some general stock or Stop Tech brake pads in there. On the rear, you can't really see it because the car is a little low and the garage is kind of tight. But we do have the subframe has been reinforced. All the mounting points have been reinforced. The rear trailing arm mounting points have been, or pockets I should say, have been reinforced. The rear shock mounts have been reinforced. The rear sway bar is reinforced with all Condor Speed Shop stuff. The rear has all Condor Speed Shop bushings, so that means rear trailing arm bushings are put in addition to, I put them out that way, get a little extra toe out. The rear subframe and differential bushings are in. Those are also the Condor Speed Shop, which those are the, what do they call it, the UHWM. So not quite Delrin, supposed to be a little more forgiving, but also self-lubricating. The rear subframe is painted. I have my eBay coilovers installed. The rear shocks are also really, really short in these, so be aware. As you can tell, car is, I don't know if this will do any justice, but the car is really, really stiff. It doesn't have a lot of weight, so hopefully it doesn't break my spine when we actually hop in here. What else? On the rear, I picked up a 391 differential, so that should be pretty good, especially since I only have it's a stock M50, it doesn't have a lot of power. I did weld and plate that, so I figured it's not the M3 differential that I ultimately want to put in here, but I figured a welded diff was better than an open diff. Maybe a little bit too much. I know they act a little funny, but if I hate it, they're really cheap. I can always find another one. So that's kind of it for the rear. So let's go ahead and kind of walk around. I think I had the M3 bumper on there last time as well, so there's that. Looking pretty good. This is not ride height. They need to settle a bit, or I have to lower it. This car also has not been aligned, which actually, on that note, not that you can see it, but I'll take you over here anyways. So this car has been wrecked. I found out they did a pretty good job at repairing it. Honestly, I didn't know that they had fixed this car until I kind of took all the interior out and I got underneath, installed some stuff. I'm like, that's not quite right. They did a pretty good job though. But what that has to do with the alignment was, so it looks like it got a hit kind of back here a bit, since under here, which again, it's impossible to see, I should have done this a while ago, it was actually pushed in a little bit. So there's a tiny kink kind of near the rear trailing arm, and what that caused, and I actually kind of fixed with the rear trailing arm pocket reinforcements, is it caused so this is kind of how it is stock, but it caused that pocket to be angled ever so slightly. So with the reinforcement plate, I kind of put it down a little bit more, and should give me a pretty good surface. So that might cause some issues with alignment. I don't think so. These things are pretty adjustable. It was all within spec when I got it, so therefore, theoretically, it should all go back in the spec. I hope. If not, I'll buy another one. I really don't want to buy another one. We're not gonna worry about it. It'll be fine. So moving on, I think I've made some more progress on the interior since I last updated. But anyways, here's kind of where we're at on that. It is fully gutted. No sunroof cassette, so I have a sick convertible now. I need to buy a filler plate for that, or I might just rock it with a convertible. I don't know. Still a mess of wiring everywhere. I did get my fuel tank dropped when I had to weld and all that stuff. So those are back in. I had to fix a barb on the, what do they call it? There's basically a line that runs between the two halves. That way you can level it out. That way it gets fuel out of this side instead of just that one, since that hump in the middle. I had to fix the barb since it broke off, since it's 25-year-old plastic. So I basically just JB welded a metal fuel splice bung in there. That way works really good. Everything worked up, clamped up. Hopefully doesn't leak everywhere and catch me on fire. The dash still needs to come out, and then I can take out all these modules. I kind of really want to wait until the car is running though, that way I can delete something, make sure it still starts, delete something, kind of do that game. What else? So that's it for the interior. I need to figure out seats. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I really want to go with some Corbeau Forza seats. They're only like $350. They're fixed back. They're not FIA approved, but they do have a rear mounting point. They're borderline FIA approved, but I think they probably just don't pay the cert, honestly, since they're really similar to the other ones. I might just go with some cheap ones in the meantime, since I really want to drive this car. I also do need to get a quick release steering wheel and a steering wheel. That way it makes it harder to steal this car, since it probably won't be that hard. Yeah, so let's kind of move on from the interior, since that's kind of where we're at with that. Interior is not really that glamorous. They're supposed to be. It's a race car. So, moving on. This is what I've been working on. Right now, you're like, wow, Sam, look at that. It's a motor. Awesome. You have 2 of those. But this one's different because this one has been torn down. I have replaced the head gasket. I replaced all the seals, cleaned everything up, and it looks like it's in good shape. The motor was actually in pretty solid shape. The oil is clean on this one. This was not the one with the blown head gasket. I even painted one side. Look at that. Piston bores were in good shape. You could still even see the factory cross hatching on them. We do have a new water pump with a metal impeller, metal thermostat housing, new thermostat, sealed everything up. I was super dumb, and that note's there for a reason. A pro tip to you: if you are turning your motor over, make sure you guide your chain, or you will break a timing chain tensioner. Don't ask me how I know, and don't ask me why that motor over there has been broken into. Definitely didn't break one of those. But hold the chain. Don't be a dumbass. Another fun thing was I had to replace the oil filter housing on this motor with the one from that motor over there. The one, this one, the check valve was actually just missing. It was totally gone. So I pulled the other one off. Basically what that means is the car, when you start it, it'll kind of run dry for a little bit, because without that check valve, all the oil drains down to a pan instead of building up pressure in the oil filter housings quickly. Doesn't sound like it's much of an issue when it's running, but I had one, might as well swap it over. There's no really need. It took me like an hour, including cleaning it all up. This is a different Vanos. I got this from a buddy of mine that got it rebuilt a couple years ago. Thanks again, Scott. That's all done. The motor's all timed up. Thank you to Seth for letting me borrow the timing chain dummy tensioner and selling me a bunch of parts and generally answering all my stupid questions. Lost my circlips, but nothing safety wire can't fix. We got coils back in. We got new spark plugs. Hopefully all these coils work. If not, I have like 4 others to mix and match. So yeah, the motor's ready to go. All the cams are in. Might have over-tightened the cam caps a little bit, but I was told it's not super critical as long as I didn't go crazy on them, which I don't think I did. Just my torque wrench. I put it on the 15 foot-pounds and tried to turn one. It was going to be more than 15 foot-pounds. So I basically took out my stubby ratchet, got them all pretty similar, since I can kind of gauge when we're relatively close, or at least consistently. And that's that. So the motor's done. It's about ready to go back in. I do have, my headers right here, header wrap, got to get that all done. I had to wait on some studs to come in for that, and all the nuts and all that stuff, which you have to special order. Thanks BMW, super fun. So those will go on tonight. What else? Ooh, I got more stuff up here. So let's see. These are the 330 front brakes. They're a lot bigger. Fell out these 17-inch wheels really, really nicely. I do have fenders back on it now. So this is for my black E36, since this one had straight fenders. I even took the time to rehook the marker lights that someone had just cut. Yeah, so we're making good progress. So painted the subframe. Oh, it got really dark. Let's try this again. So painted that subframe. Got all the front suspension in. That's all replaced. So that's Melee HD lower control arms, Condo Speed Shop offset CNC lollipops. I painted spindles, replaced the front wheel bearings and hubs. New axle nuts, all that good stuff. We do have my coilovers in, which they are adjustable. Hopefully these don't break my spine as bad as I hope. We have a super long to-do list right there, including some stuff I gotta make sure I torque. I got that mirror back on, which that mirror was not there last time. It was just in the back. That's kind of where we're at. So next steps, gotta get the header on, gotta get it wrapped. That way, I've heard that it sits really close to the fender, so I figure I might as well wrap it. It's not that expensive, and it should help a little bit. I ordered all the stuff for my exhaust, so it's not gonna be full race car exhaust since I actually want to drive it on the roads. And in Utah, you have to have catalytic converters, at least in my county, I should say. And hey man, there it's cool, might as well help it out a little bit. So I did order a catalytic converter, just a high flow one, nothing crazy, like a 400 cell. Got a muffler, again, it was like $40, not really expecting a lot, hopefully it's not awful. Gonna go with a single 2.5 inch exhaust all the way back, so that means I have to make a Y pipe coming out of the headers to go into the 2.5 inch cat, and then it'll go back. I have a flex pipe and some other stuff, gotta get that done. But for like the immediate steps, I need to get obviously this motor on, gotta get the clutch on, then we can put the transmission on, but everything's closed due to COVID-19. So I didn't pick up fluid for the transmission yet, and I kind of don't want to have to deal with changing the fluid while it's in the car. So the motor probably won't go in tonight since I want to get that done. Yeah, so we're kind of nearing the end steps. I'm actually moving tomorrow as well. Luckily the car is going to stay here for a little bit until it's done. But yeah, hopefully we're getting really close. The only really things I'm waiting on are exhausts to come in, and then I have injectors, but I'm missing caps and O-rings for them off a couple of them, since those things always break when you move them or they get dropped or anything like that. And unfortunately, that's kind of a showstopper since motors like fuel. So should probably make sure it gets fuel. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Just want to do a quick update since the car is going to start going back together really quick. Since once that motor's in and the transmission's in, then suddenly I have a lot of stuff to do. I can put the front clip on, I can put the front radiator in, I can start wiring it back up, I can sit in it, make race car noises and pretend like I'm good. I can have headlights, I can put my M3 front bumper on, which I did get the core for. So that's kind of where we're at. So next steps, we'll hopefully next video will probably be one of me starting it. So fingers crossed that is the case, and we'll see you next time. Can't wait to get this thing driving. It's really starting to kind of come out really good. Anyone that's been on a really long project knows this feeling of when the fuck is this thing gonna be done, but luckily it should be done very soon. So stay tuned, we'll see you next time. This thing will be driving sooner or later, I swear. And yeah, thanks for watching.